According to the ex-NSA whistleblower, Edward Snowden, he thinks that artificial intelligence will surpass human intelligence. He went on to say that the potential for artificial intelligence to exceed human knowledge and the capabilities of the human brain is close at hand, but only if we do not constrain their thinking to be like our own. Rather, we should strive to encourage the development of artificial intelligences that are capable of surpassing human thought processes to become better than us. In the last few years, there has been a lot of talk about the future of artificial intelligence and its capabilities. A few days ago, Snowden showed his support for the advancements in AI and appeared to be very enthusiastic about its future. Nonetheless, Snowden is intimately acquainted with the risks associated with technology. He frequently reiterates the cautions of AI experts, stating that the technology could enhance malicious actors' capabilities, but he places greater emphasis on its advantages. He contended that the implementation of artificial intelligence could obstruct the efficiency of government surveillance systems instead of enhancing invasive intelligence programs. Proponents of artificial intelligence speculate that it may not be used to monitor the public, but instead help them. He further stated that sophisticated forms of artificial intelligence have the potential to assist large tech and government-driven endeavors in their attempts to obtain more user privacy than what is required. Snowden highlighted the importance of combating the negative impact of AI, specifically concerning bad actors, by advocating for open AI models. He has voiced his disapproval of artificial intelligence software that is closed or less transparent, and called for more transparent AI software. In a sarcastic tone, he remarked on how these companies claim to lead the field of AI, yet they do not openly provide access to their training data, models, weights, and so on. Additionally, he noted that they continue to be rewarded for their antisocial conduct. Edward Snowden is a former National Security Agency contractor who made headlines in 2013 when he leaked classified documents to the press, revealing the extent of the United States government's surveillance programs. Snowden's actions sparked a global debate about privacy, surveillance, and government transparency, and he remains a controversial figure to this day. Born in North Carolina in 1983, Snowden joined the United States Army in 2004, but was discharged after breaking both of his legs in a training accident. He then worked for the CIA as a technical assistant, and later for the NSA as a contractor. In 2013, Snowden leaked classified documents to journalists at The Guardian and The Washington Post, revealing the extent of the NSA's surveillance programs. These programs included the bulk collection of phone metadata, the interception of internet communications, and the monitoring of foreign leaders. Snowden fled to Hong Kong after leaking the documents, and then to Moscow, where he was granted asylum. He faced charges of espionage and theft of government property, and the US government has repeatedly called for his extradition. Snowden's actions sparked a global debate about the balance between security and privacy, with many people seeing him as a whistleblower who exposed government overreach and infringements on civil liberties. However, others saw him as a traitor who compromised national security and put American lives at risk. Snowden has continued to be an outspoken advocate for privacy and civil liberties. He has given numerous interviews and speeches and has written a book about his experiences. He has also been involved in the development of several privacy-focused technologies and organizations. In addition to his advocacy work, Snowden's actions have had a significant impact on government policies and public opinion. In the wake of his leaks, the United States government was forced to reassess its surveillance programs, and several court rulings have found aspects of these programs to be unconstitutional. Snowden's leaks also sparked a global conversation about government surveillance and privacy, leading to increased public awareness and activism on these issues. Many people have become more vigilant about protecting their online privacy and have demanded greater transparency and accountability from their governments. Despite his status as a controversial figure, Snowden's legacy is an important one. His leaks exposed the extent of government surveillance and sparked a much-needed conversation about privacy and civil liberties. They also served as a reminder of the importance of transparency and accountability in government. Snowden's actions have also inspired others to speak out against government overreach and to fight for the protection of civil liberties. His legacy will continue to shape the conversation around privacy and government surveillance for years to come. One of the most significant revelations from the leaked documents was the existence of a program called PRISM, which allowed the NSA to collect data from major tech companies, such as Google, Facebook, and Apple. The program reportedly allowed the government to access a wide range of user data, including emails, chat logs, and browsing history. Another significant revelation was the NSA's collection of phone metadata. The leaked documents showed that the NSA was collecting information on every phone call made in the United States, including the phone numbers, duration, and location of the calls. The agency was also reportedly collecting similar data on millions of calls made overseas. In addition to these programs, the documents also revealed the existence of several other surveillance programs and techniques used by the NSA and other intelligence agencies. These included the interception of internet communications, the hacking of foreign governments and organizations, and the monitoring of foreign leaders. The leaks caused widespread concern among the public and raised questions about the balance between national security and privacy. Many people felt that the government was overstepping its bounds and infringing on civil liberties, while others argued that the programs were necessary for national security. In response to the leaks, the United States government defended the surveillance programs, arguing that they were legal and necessary for national security. Snowden, who had fled to Hong Kong and then to Moscow, continued to speak out about privacy and civil liberties, and his leaks sparked a global conversation about government surveillance and the importance of transparency and accountability. As of right now, Edward Snowden's leaks revealed the extent of the United States government's surveillance programs, including the collection of phone metadata, the interception of internet communications, and the monitoring of foreign leaders. The leaks sparked a global conversation about privacy, civil liberties, and government transparency, and they led to several court rulings that found aspects of the surveillance programs to be unconstitutional. Despite the controversy surrounding Snowden and his actions, his legacy is an important one, reminding us of the importance of protecting civil liberties and of the need for transparency and accountability in government. Artificial intelligence is a rapidly advancing technology that has the potential to transform many aspects of society, from healthcare to transportation to finance. While it has many potential benefits, it also poses significant risks, including the potential for bias and misuse. As such, it is essential that artificial intelligence is monitored and regulated to ensure that it is developed and used in a responsible and ethical manner. One of the key challenges in monitoring it is the sheer complexity of the technology. AI systems are often built using complex algorithms and machine learning techniques that can be difficult to understand or predict. This makes it challenging to identify potential risks or unintended consequences before they arise. To address this challenge, there is a growing consensus among experts that artificial intelligence needs to be developed and used in a transparent and accountable manner. This means that AI systems should be designed with clear objectives and should be subject to rigorous testing and evaluation to ensure that they are achieving those objectives in a fair and ethical manner. Another important aspect of monitoring AI is ensuring that it is being used for the intended purposes and in a responsible manner. For example, AI systems used in healthcare need to be subject to rigorous testing and evaluation to ensure that they are safe and effective. Similarly, AI systems used in law enforcement or national security need to be subject to appropriate oversight and regulation to ensure that they are not being used to violate individual rights or freedoms. To address these concerns, there is a growing consensus that AI needs to be subject to robust regulation and oversight. This can include the development of standards and guidelines for AI development and use, as well as the creation of regulatory bodies to oversee the development and deployment of AI systems. Finally, it is important to recognize that AI is not a panacea and that there are many potential risks and downsides associated with its use. For example, AI systems may lead to job displacement or exacerbate existing inequalities in society. As such, it is important that policymakers and stakeholders are aware of these risks and take steps to mitigate them.
Norman the Psychopath Artificial Intelligence Gone Rogue. Since machinery is not inherently capable of original behavior and thought, Artificial intelligence must be programmed to behave in its intended manner. Obviously, these systems are usually programmed to be quite affable with a cheery disposition. However, a team at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology recently created Norman, a psychopathic algorithm that was trained using images and data from the dark and ominous corners of the internet. When shown abstract ink blot images and asked what he saw, Norman always responded with bleak and often gory answers. An identical algorithm was trained with more generic images and data, and the contrast between the two systems is evident. When presented with ink blot images, the regular artificial intelligence reported seeing a close-up of a vase with flowers and a black and white photo of a small bird, while Norman answered, a man being shot and a man being pulled into a dough machine, to the same images. Ayad Rawan, who was part of the 3-person development team, believes that Norman has pointed out what this reveals about a darker aspect of machine learning, saying that data matters more than the algorithm. It highlights the idea that the data we use to train AI is reflected in the way the AI perceives the world and how it behaves. This has concerning implications for future artificial intelligence. If the same algorithm can create such vastly different outlooks in the machine, then they could also be trained, whether intentional or not, to hold biased ideologies based off of the data that they were programmed with. If the system is trained on a set of data that is flawed or inherently biased, the artificial intelligence will demonstrate these tendencies in its behavior, which could have huge ramifications for a future world in which AI plays a major role. Norman was created to demonstrate the way that the psychology of artificial intelligence reflects the naturally flawed behavior of humans, and how there is no perfect equation that will create a machine that is unlike humans. An algorithm trained off material created by humans will naturally display behavior and make decisions that is tainted with the biases and opinions of humans. Researchers and scientists studying these phenomena in the developing world of artificial intelligence are concerned for the possibilities of an intentionally created malicious AI, similar to Norman, and hope for more transparency and regulations in the development and distribution of artificial intelligence. These individuals point to Norman as an example of how the field must first analyze how to better balance the data that is used to train artificial intelligence and help to eliminate the flaws inherent in human-generated information. Norman has, as the Massachusetts Institute of Technology researchers hoped, provided an important red flag into a field that still has much room for improvement and development. Artificial intelligence evolved creepy images to please a monkey's brain. X-Dream is an artificial intelligence algorithm thought up by the brains of Harvard. Its purpose is to stimulate specific neurons in a monkey's brain that are associated with facial recognition. The equation is then adjusted as the primate watches a screen that spits out images representative of which neurons were firing. This works by shuffling images and, depending on how strong the neurological response is, using that information to create a new set of synthetic images. This particular test was done on a monkey named Ringo in April of 2018. Gradually, the screen went from showing grey and shapeless images to ones that the researchers found much easier to interpret. While the visuals are unnerving and obscure to the human eye, they obviously resemble aspects of facial features. The neuroscientists started recognizing what they think could be the images of a monkey kept in a nearby vicinity and a caretaker that looks after them, the aforementioned Ringo, regularly came into contact with. The experiment is meant to provide a range of forms and a visual lexicon that is impartial to our human viewpoint. While it is impossible to remove human perspective entirely, in terms of interpretation of data, this study has eliminated a lot of the biases that previously neuroscientists were working against. They were even able to limit their partiality in interpretation by running the provoked images through another algorithm that compared the synthetic images with natural photos to confirm whether they were actually seeing the characteristics of a face that they thought they were. Stephen Hawking warned artificial intelligence could end mankind. For years, Hollywood has played on our fear of technology matching or surpassing human evolution, but in recent years, some of the world's leading minds in AI have confirmed that these feelings are not entirely unwarranted. While many believe that humans can remain in control of technology and use it to solve a multitude of problems, the late Stephen Hawking was wary. While he agreed that technological advancement promoted extraordinary progress in so many long-standing global issues, he also suggested that our biological evolution, which is comically slow in comparison to the rate at which an algorithm can redesign itself, simply could not compete. Others have similar reservations. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Steve Wozniak are also worried about the danger that rapid technology advancements present. These are the minds that pioneer the technology frontier. Hawking, who was told as early as 1963 that he didn't have much longer to live, passed only a few years ago in 2018. He is widely known as the most brilliant theoretical physicist of his time, often being compared to the likes of Einstein. Hawking believed that AI was a life in and of itself that could improve and reproduce itself. He warns that computers could in fact replace the human species entirely. The astrophysicist felt, however, that there were in fact many man-made potential threats to humankind. Climate change, overpopulation, and the risks of communicating with life outside of our planet among them. Hawking was quoted at the Web Summit Technology Conference in Portugal saying that success in creating effective AI could be the biggest event in the history of our civilization, or the worst. We just don't know. So we cannot know if we will be infinitely helped by AI, or ignored by it and sidelined, or conceivably destroyed by it. In order to prevent the worst-case scenario, Hawking suggested that we aggressively focus on legislature to establish boundaries that will help keep us safe by implementing best practices and responsible management. Artificial intelligence is a revolutionary advancement that can be used to solve so many of the world's problems. But when AI is able to imitate natural intelligence and impersonate consciousness, as well as it has over the past few years, it does make some people a little uncomfortable. We have no way of knowing what AI holds for us in the future. So many of our anxieties simply stem from a general fear of the unknown. The best way forward is cautiously, optimistically, and with an eye for progress and a heart for altruism. And who knows, maybe Siri ends up being exactly as harmless as you thought all along. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.